only on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Now you're playing with power.
Hey folks, Crazy Glamour 80 here again, and this time we're going to look at game number 14 in our 20 from the Nintendo Entertainment System series, and this is one of the first games you'll think of when you think of the NES, and there's Stefan Diggs, number 14 for my favorite team, the Buffalo Bills. But this was an absolute Smash classic, the first Smash classic for the Nintendo Entertainment System, I think. This is Super Mario Brothers. This was created by Nintendo in 1985. This also saw life in the arcades as Versus Super Mario Brothers. And this took Mario from the Donkey Kong game in a whole different direction. This put him in a fantasy setting with shades of Alice in Wonderland. This also was on multi-carts like Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt, or Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt, and Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt, and was that World Stadium events or something? World Class Track Meet. But this really launched the Nintendo Entertainment System. I remember when it first came out, there was like the what they call it, the control deck. It had Super Mario Brothers come with it, and when I first purchased my control deck, I got Super Mario Brothers with it, and I bought Kung Fu as well from Toys R Us, and I was just hooked on this right off the bat. Mario has a different look to him starting in this game, and like I said, he's in kind of a fantasy setting, Alice in Wonderland style, and he eats mushrooms like Alice does. And we'll go ahead and get started. Now, one thing you'll notice is that there's a lot of question mark blocks, and they can hold all sorts of special items. And there was a mushroom that Mario ate. You just touch the mushroom to eat it, and you'll grow big. And if Mario touches an enemy when he's small, he will die. But when he touches an enemy when he's big, he will shrink down once, and then when he gets touched again, he will die. There's various enemies that will have different appearances, and Mario can interact with them differently. And there is a coin block. Some of the coin blocks you can hit repeatedly until they're used up. And when you get 100 coin blocks, you get an extra life, or coins. And there is sometimes an invincibility star that you can collect from the blocks. And when you touch it, you have invincibility for a short time. At the very edge of a stage, end of a stage, you want to jump and touch a flagpole to end the level. There are a total of 8 worlds with 4 parts to each world. So there are 32 stages to explore. And on some of the stages, you will go underground, starting with World 1-2. Once Mario is big and he hits a power or a coin block or block that would normally have a mushroom, it will instead become a flower. And when Mario touches that, he will shoot fireballs with the A button, I believe it is, or maybe it was the B button. I can't remember how it's set up. But with the non-jump button, he will shoot fireballs. Not all enemies can be killed by his fireballs. If you touch a flower again after collecting the firepower, it will just give you 1,000 points bonus, I believe. There are plants that will hurt you or kill you, depending if you're small or big, that stick out of the pipes. And in some of those pipes, you can press down and you will go down to another underground type of area. and you can get some bonus coins. Like I said, every 100 coins you pick up, you will get an extra life. Now those little mushroom-looking guys are called Goombas, and you can jump on their heads quite easily and kill them. The turtles are called Koopas, and if you jump on their head once, they will tuck inside their shell, and then you can touch their shell and you'll kick it, and you can take out a whole bunch of enemies in its wake. And if you take out enough, you'll get an extra life, and we'll look at that later. Most of the stages are not underground. They're in the overworld, or whatever you want to call it, outside. Some of these coins are in plain view, and some of them are inside those blocks that we saw earlier. Not always will you get items and stuff from those question blocks. Sometimes there will be regular bricks that you can bump, and they'll yield some sort of power-up or a coin or something sometimes. Sometimes the turtles, the Koopas, will have wings, and you'll need to jump on them and make them land, and then you can jump on them again and then touch their shell and kick them. And yeah, like I said, you can take out other enemies with that kicked shell. You can also have it rebound off a wall and come back and hit you and kill you. But again, if you're big, then you can sustain a hit. If you are hit when you have the firepower, you just change directly to small. Now there is a trick at the end of the stage when you get to a castle. If you touch that flagpole when the timer reads 1, 3, or 6 with its first digit, you know, the ones digit, you will get bonus points, and we'll talk more about that later. But the fourth part of each world has this creepy castle and this creepy music, and you'll have to watch out for these fire turnstiles. There will be various fire-related stuff that can hurt you, including lava pits that will kill you when you fall in them. But if you have the firepower, you can kill this boss here. Even without the firepower, if you jump on that axe, you can make the bridge collapse and he'll fall in. And that enemy is called Bowser. But he is a fake. And you see him, if you use the firepower on him enough and destroy him, you'll see him change into another enemy from before. But the final Bowser is the real Bowser. That'll be on 8-4. Sometimes there will be blocks that you can bump on various stages, and you don't even see the blocks, they're invisible, but you can bump them. And here and there will be a 1-up mushroom, and it will be green and yellow, not yellow and red or yellow and brown. See that I made that Koopa shell ricochet off a wall. And so yeah, you gotta watch out when it comes back at you. But the 1-up mushroom does just what it says, it gives you an extra life. And here is the invincibility power that I picked up from getting that star. Now something that I did not mention yet is that when you hold down the button that would shoot fireballs, and you hold left or right, you will run much faster. And you will need to do that to jump across certain gaps that are very long. And sometimes there is a springboard. Now I screwed that up. What I would suggest is that you get on the very top part of the platform just before the flagpole and wait at the edge, the left edge, until the timer reads 0 on the first digit. then do a fast run and jump to the right and touch the flagpole, and it will quite likely end on 6, which will give you the maximum bonus points. You'll see a fireworks display go off, and for each firework you get 500 points. Now this is a underwater stage, and by pressing the jump button you will instead swim, and you can still shoot fireballs underwater, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but whatever. And there will be these squids that sort of move in the direction that you're facing, so if you turn away, then they'll follow you from behind. And when you rapidly press the swim button, they'll move quicker. And then the rest of these guys are fish. They are flying fish because you will see them on later stages jump through the air. And they're called Cheep, I believe. And the squids in this game are called bloobers, I think. There's some very silly names. But at the edge of this stage, you just go into the pipe and you reappear from a pipe just before the final platform. Like I said, just kind of wait here and then do a long jump. Ow, I did it too soon. But you have to get that last digit, or the ones digit, 1, 3, or 6. That way you will get 1 fireball, or 1 firework, 3 fireworks, or 6 fireworks, worth 500 points apiece. And here are those cheeps on this stage. We are just going to look at snippets of the remainders of the worlds, and the sections of them, the 4 sections of each. There will be various abysses, and sometimes you will need, like I said, a long running jump to get across them, and sometimes there will be very small purchases of land, and you can easily mistime your jump and fall into the abyss and lose a life. There's no way to get extra points at certain point values. You have to get 100 coins, but there are other ways to get extra lives, and we'll look at those. We already saw that you can uncover hidden 1-up mushrooms, and there I got my 6 fireworks. And now here's another castle. Some of the castles, some of these Dash 4 stages will have secret puzzles to them, and you have to go a certain way through the stage, or else you'll get lost, or you'll repeat portions of the stage. And just look at the way that I complete the stage and know that that's the way you have to go. And now we have platforms. You might be able to get a mushroom or a fire flower on this stage sometimes. And you see those fireballs, those are being breathed by the Bowser imposter off stage. Sometimes the Bowser imposter will throw hammers. Ah, crap. Yeah, like I said, you don't have to shoot him to death. You can just touch the axe. But you'll need to run under his feet when he hops, or jump over his head. And there was a moving platform over him that you could take to get over him. And here are some of the winged turtles. Ah, crap. Yeah, that's Mario dying there. You can continue, I believe, by holding the A button after you exhaust all your lives, and you'll start back at the beginning of that stage. Now here is where you can do a special trick, but we'll have to look at that later. And this can get you a whole lot of extra lives. You are timed, note, and you'll hear the music change speed when you are running low on time. And here's me taking out a bunch of enemies with 1 turtle shell, but it wasn't enough to get me an extra life. we're just looking at snippets of the remainder of the levels. This game was such a monster classic. Whoa, I just barely got that mushroom. Yeah, it was the big video game at Toys R Us for gamers to pick up. No NES was without this game, pretty much. This was followed by some very, very, very impressive sequels and a multitude of series and spin-offs afterwards. And a couple other Super Mario games will be later on this list. But I still think this really holds up well. It's some really strange ideas. This is World 4 2, and this has a couple of secrets. There are some warp areas where you can warp to higher levels or higher worlds with some tricks. You can run and slide under some bricks, and we'll see a very helpful trick coming up here. You can advance carefully and leave like half of a row or a column of blocks, and you can jump up along the edge and sneak in between those blocks and manage to make your way up here. Some very, very useful tricks. And you can do a level warp here. You can bump that block and it'll sprout a vine. And it'll take you to this mushroom platform area up here. And there's no enemies here, don't worry. Just get to the end, and you'll be able to warp to World 6, 7, or 8. We'll look at that again later, because I've got other warps to show you as well. But I just took it to try to beat the game quicker. And here we encounter creatures called, buzzy beetles. You cannot destroy their shells, but they are similar to Koopas. Now we're going to go back to 4-2, and this is the area that I bypassed. Or at least part of it. And now on World 4-3, we have these mushroom platforms again. And we'll scoot forward to the World 4 castle, and this is one of those puzzle ones. You have to go the direction that I go. Go up top here, and then drop down here. Go across here, and then go left. Drop down to the bottom and go that way. Like I said, you can get lost. You can repeat areas if you don't go the right way. And then once you see the fireballs, you'll know that Koopa is just off to the right. Yeah, I didn't do that very well, but even if you're just a small Mario, you can still touch the axe and kill him. And there I'm going to take out a bunch of enemies with one Koopa shell. You have to take out about 10 or so enemies with one Koopa shell to get an extra life. And now we have an enemy called Bullet Bill, and it comes out of these cannons. And he won't come out if you're close to the cannon, but you can jump on him for points. And the same thing with the plants that come out of the pipes. If you're real close to the pipe, the plant won't come out. And this guy is called a Hammer Brother. And the Hammer Brothers can be a pain in the butt because they throw hammers that can kill you if they touch you. And they throw them a lot. Don't get pinched by those platforms that can force you into the water abyss. That'll kill you. And again, in the water area, you just repeatedly push the jump button to swim. And now we go to the fifth Whoa, look how long that friggin' fire turnstile is, or fire rope, or whatever you want to call it. Jeez. And then a little bit later we have the moving platforms. Crap. We'll scoot forward to World 6 one, and now we see these spinies, and this cloud, or this guy on a cloud called Lakitu, is dropping them, and you need to kill him to keep them from continuously spawning. Yeah, I think you can get like a maximum of 12 or so coins out of those blocks that you can repeatedly bump under and get more coins. There are some moving platforms that will only move if you step on them. But you don't want to stand on them forever because you'll fall to your death. And we'll scoot forward to the World 6 Bowser imposter. I pressed pause there. Yeah, more cannons firing bullet bills. And some of them can fire them high or low. And there's Hammer Brothers that I just passed, and here's another underwater stage at 7-2. But in the underwater stage, you just keep going right until you reach a pipe that'll bring you back to land. Yeah, sometimes they'll just hover around you, so try to lead them away the other direction, and then start swimming the other direction when the coast is clear. And again, if you rapidly wail on that swim button, they'll move faster. And here's another stage with Cheep Cheeps. This game was so weird for its time, but boy was it innovative and cool. I still really enjoy playing it. There's a whole lot of Game Genie codes that are really interesting for this game. Something I didn't mention is if you get hit by an enemy, you can actually walk inside the enemy and not die as long as you're still inside the enemy. And once you go outside the enemy, then you can be killed. kind of odd little glitch. Some interesting little glitches for this game as well. And now this is the second to last castle area. And you have to go this direction. Watch the direction that I go, or you will get lost. Yeah, those puzzles were kind of irritating for its time, because I would just not remember where I was supposed to go. But once you see a fireball, then you know you're going the right way. And sometimes there will be fireballs jumping out of the lava. Oh, great! He's got hammers. But just see if you can get the timing right to scoot under his feet. Yeah, they always say, but our princess is in another castle. It's not the real princess at the end, just like the Koopa is not the real Koopa. Yeah, we'll just scoot forward to various parts. See, there's small land purchases there, but if you do a fast run, you can actually skip over the tiny little gaps. And there, I'm running out of times because the music sped up. And if your timer goes to 0, you will die. Now, if you passed halfway through the stage and you die, you will start back over at the halfway point. But yeah, once your timer dips below 100, look at those small purchases of land I have. If your timer dips below 100, then the music starts to speed up, prompting you to hurry the F up. There was a 1-up mushroom above my head there, and use the springboard. Will I be able to catch it? Ooh, barely. But there's various hidden one-up mushrooms. Maybe not one on every single level. Another small purchase of land. Yeah, the score that you get for touching the flagpole depends on how high you were on the flagpole when you grabbed it. For the maximum, it's 5,000, and you'll want to actually touch the flag itself to get that. But this is the second to last area of the whole game. And there are a lot of Hammer Brothers on this stage. It's very, very annoying. I mean, they just keep coming. And some of them are not standing on blocks. They're just on the ground like that. If you get your... here is the last stage, and this is another puzzle. Just watch where I go. Past these Goombas, and Goombas were rare for a castle stage. And then you go in the pipe after that lava area. And here, just keep going right, continue going right, and you'll eventually see a lava area. And then right after that, there will be an invisible block you'll need to hit. And then you'll need to get into that pipe and go down. And now here, we'll just scoot forward a little bit. Little cheeps flying up. And you'll need to go in this pipe just after the lava. And there's a swimming area. And there's fire turnstiles underwater, pretty strange. Mario will never run out of oxygen, don't worry about that. And just swim over to the pipe and go back into the castle. And you'll have to take care of that Hammer Brother there. And then over here is the actual real Bowser. And he's throwing a bunch of hammers. Oh my god, I got lucky there. And now we will see the real princess. Thank you, Mario. Your quest is over. We present you a new quest. Push button B to select a world. Now, when you press start to go back to the main screen, you can press B and you'll cycle through the different worlds that you can start on. And look at the top, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8. And then you just press the start button when you want to start. And from that point on, the Goombas will all be Buzzy Beetles, I believe. Now here's another trick. This is to get to the minus world. On 1, 2, break these blocks as Large Mario, and then jump and hook back to the right as you're in the air. And you might go through the pipe. If you do, then you can access the minus world. Just keep walking through the wall there, and take the first pipe. And the minus world is an unending world. There is no end to it. You will run out of time and die eventually. And it's all underwater. There will be a pipe at the end to go into, but then you'll just reappear in another underwater world. And just keep going until you run out of time and die, and then lose all your lives. Or unless you hit reset on the control deck. Now, there are abysses underwater, and there will actually be some gravity that tries to suck you down into the abyss and kill you. And there will often be coins to kind of bait you into getting pulled in. You can still rapidly wail on the swim button to get out of it. I mean, if you think it's worth it. The collision detection, when you come close to touching or touch the squids, is very forgiving in this game. See, I ran out of time. It'll eventually happen in the minus world. That's how you access the minus world in Super Mario Brothers. And then they start you at the halfway point where you get sucked right into an abyss, and you have to wail on the jump button. That kind of sucks. Now here is another trick. This is how you can access the first warp. you can warp to 2, 3, or 4 by staying on the ceiling there on 1, 2. And now this trick is there's another 1-up mushroom right there on 3, 1. And now here's the best trick of all. Kill the first Koopa on at the end of 3, 1, and then you have to jump just right as the second one comes to the stair just above you. And if you do, you can get 1-ups over and over and over again by bumping his shell back into the stair and below your feet over and over and over again. When it stops, just jump straight up and just keep it going. Just make sure you're pushed against that stair. And just wait for the right time and take out the second Koopa over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. If you end up accruing 256 or more extra lives and then die, your game will end. So try not to get that many. And see, the symbol gets weird for extra lives. Now here is a trick to, here's me getting enough enemies with 1 Koopa shell and getting the extra life. You have to get a lot. And now this is, if you stay on the top of World 4-2 instead of bumping those coins and taking the beanstalk or whatever, staying on the top here, you can warp to Zone 5. And we'll look again on 4-2. If you bump these invisible coin blocks and break these blocks like this, and that one there, and then you'll get the ivy, and you climb up it, and you can go to 6, 7, or 8 worlds that way. I like the look of the mushroom platforms. It looked like pepperoni pizza to me. Yeah, I had this game. I was in love with it. I could play it any time. I could pick it up and play it any time. I love that game. And here is sometimes you'll just get a beanstalk or ivy that will just take you to a bonus area where you can collect a lot more coins up in the clouds. And there will be a cloud platform that will move when you jump onto it. I did not do very well here. I accidentally fell off the platform. You can't jump through it from below. And eventually you'll have to drop off. And it'll just park you like halfway through the level. See? And here are some awesome Game Genie codes. Sasa, kill enemies by touch. Pigoap, swim instead of jump. Says Livo, get a mushroom and then enemies can't kill you. Pigpog makes strange level designs. Ka Epo, bounce on a Koopa head multiple times. And Vugvok, start with 900 on the timer. So many more cool codes. Now, if you played 2-player, Luigi looks like that. He's basically a palette swap of Mario, and you just alternate after a player dies. It's not 2-player simultaneous play. But that was Super Mario Brothers, the original. Game number 14 in our 20 from the Nintendo Entertainment System series. Well, I thank you for watching Super Mario Brothers by Nintendo in 1985. And hopefully soon you'll join me for game number 13. Hope you all have a great weekend, and I will see you later. Bye-bye, folks.